If you're not aware of what our company does, basically we have a cloud-based medical billing and electronic medical record system. It works on any platform, on any computer, under any browser, under any OS system, and it's available anywhere there's an internet connection. That's the great part about our business, is you can literally take a laptop to Tahiti and run the business from there if that's what you want to do. And we've had licensees take vacations and do that. Over the years, we've also developed a number of ancillary services, which you see pictured on the screen here. We'll talk about some of those today, because all of those are ways to get your foot in the door, to talk to a doctor or the office manager about doing their billing. And sometimes they're just not ready to move into something new. So what they do is they engage with you on some of these other services that you see here. Hey, Pedro, thank you for showing up today. I see your name here in the list of attendees, and I appreciate that. And Zong Yang is here as well. Thank you, Zong. Okay, so let me get back to the slides here. We'll just move right on through. I think I can here. Yeah. By the way, just in the last couple of weeks, we were voted in the top 100 game changers for 2021. So in the franchise industry, folks, as you probably know, there are literally hundreds, maybe 1,000 or more different franchises out there, and we got chosen to be in the top 100 under the franchise dictionary. So we're pretty proud of that. My name is Patrick Phillips. I'm the founder of American Business Systems, and we are basically going through these slides today to kind of help you understand what we do for people. If you're looking to get into our business, you're going to be impressed, I think, with what we've done this year and what we have planned for next year. I'm an author. You can go out on the internet and find my books, How to Reprogram Yourself for Success, The New Thriving Medical Practice, and Cash Crunch to Cash Flow. They're all on Amazon, of course, as well. I'm also a member of the editorial board for Billing and Coding Magazine. This is a print magazine that's still in print, believe it or not, 40,000 subscribers. Anybody who's anybody in the billing and coding industry subscribes to this magazine. And of course, I've had articles published on a regular basis in that. I'm also the co-founder of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. This is the organization that actually certifies you as you go through our training. At the end, MIRMA certifies you as a medical revenue manager. This year, folks, we were rocking it on YouTube. Let me tell you what I mean by that. All the webinars, including this one, are posted out there each week. We've been doing these webinars for at least the last 10 years, maybe 12 years, when we actually started doing these webinars live. We do them on Wednesdays, always Wednesdays Central Time, 4 o'clock. And you can go out to our YouTube channel and actually see a lot of those webinars and review all of them. You can go back in time for, like I said, 10, 12 years if you wanted to go back and watch all those. Each one is about an hour long, so there's a lot of content there. You can pick and choose the things that you think might be interesting to educate yourself. If you're serious about starting a home business, folks, this one takes some due diligence. We want you to check us out thoroughly and learn as much as you can. That's why we do these educational webinars each week. By the way, it's youtube.com, then put a / WHYABS, WHYABS. That's the, you go right to our channel and can view some of those. Some of the things that we've covered, as you can see, is how to hire people to run your medical billing franchise. What are the best tools for growing a medical billing business? What are the best techniques for growing a medical billing business? Can you run a business without selling? And how much do medical billing franchises make? Those are just some of the recent webinars that we've done this year. So go check all those out. We've also been rocking it on our customer reviews. If you haven't checked us out just online, it's pretty simple. If you go and just Google us, for example, you'll see Google comes up with a lot of different reviews that people have done for us. These are people, again, who've gone through our training. They've started their business. They've gotten our support. They are using our marketing materials. They've proven that the system actually works, and they have clients and they're making money running this business. It's a very profitable business. If you haven't checked out some of our webinars where we talk about how much money you can make with one doctor client. Now get this, one doctor client, you can be making as much as you invest in this business. That's right, our licensing fee as of today is $27,990. That's about $28,000. That's today. Starting next week, it will be going up in price. We haven't revealed the price yet. That's because we haven't decided exactly what it should be to cover all of the new things that we've introduced this year, but it will be going up. For that one price, you get all this training, and with one client, you can make that back within a year. There are some business case studies that are out there too. You might want to ask your ABS rep to send you a new document that we've just created called our ABS Business Case Studies. Ask your rep, the person who invited you to this webinar, and I'll give you the phone number and email of our company at the end here, where if you don't know who that person is, but just ask them for that business case studies. I think there's about 4 or 5 real in-depth studies there of people who've really, started their business and have shared their story with us, and we put that in print. One of those people, by the way, is Jade G. We're just using last names here. We don't want people going out and Googling and bugging these people, asking them questions, but we will share with you her phone number. She's on our reference list. Again, ask your ABS rep for that, and we'll be glad to share these people's real full names and phone numbers and even email addresses in some cases with you, so that you can go and contact them and say, hey, I want to talk to you one-on-one and ask you some questions. But this is an actual discussion with Jade about her business. So crank up the volume and sit back and enjoy. I'm going to turn off my webcam.
I felt like I was a little nervous because I didn't know anything about the medical industry, but it was hitting all those other factors. And then once I started speaking with my representative at ABS, once I touched base with ABS and I had a person who I was working with, a sales rep, if you will, they started reassuring me that you don't necessarily have to have a background in medical billing. And I was still nervous. I kind of just didn't believe it. I did a few things. One, I did a surprise trip to Texas, which isn't really recommended because anybody wants to have a heads up, but I still did it because I thought this is too good to be true. And I went down there and they really do exist and everything was great. That was even before I went down for training. I had a wonderful rep that I spoke with, that I worked with, that reassured me all the way through. And then finally, I just decided I would make the leap of faith. I thought if they have this laid out with proper training, and of course I was able to speak with other licensees, just like you're all able to speak with me today. But I thought if they're willing to do the training and they have this laid out for me, I'm the type of person that where there's a will, there is a way, and I can make it work. And so I took that leap of faith, and boy, am I ever glad that I did. It was a wonderful decision. I wish I had done it 10 years ago instead of 5 years ago is when I first started my training. So that's how I ended up there, and I'm so happy.
Give us a little feel for the training that you went through and what you got out of that, and how that relates to how easy or hard the system is to follow.
Well, it's a great system to follow. ABS has done the work with the training to get it completely laid out in a fashion that I don't want to say cookie cutter, because you have flexibility to branch off of the business model, which is what's really nice and flexible about it for you to be able to service your clients. But basically, the system is really great to use. It's laid out. As far as the training goes, the first phase, I'll call it, which is your initial training session. They have it laid out. ABS has it laid out into several different categories that you go through, different subjects pertaining to this career. And they give you a complete fresh start with showing you exactly what you need to do, what plan to follow. They don't just give you the tools and say, go ahead. They give you an actual plan with it on how to do it and to follow this plan. And I found when I left training, I said to myself, I can either take these things with a grain of salt and go try some of them, or I can do exactly what they laid out for me. And if I don't do exactly what ABS laid out for me, then I certainly can't complain that it didn't work later. So I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. And so I completely followed the plan that ABS gave me in the training. And now here I am today. And I feel we're doing very well and successful. I know too, a lot of people, successful is a relative term. I'll tell you, I'm not making $1 billion, but I will tell you that someday I will. And right now I'm my husband and I are both able to make this income, as well as employ others and have kids in college and pay our bills and travel. And we're living a dream right now. It's what we've always dreamed of. And ABS helped us to make. Okay,
I have to stop that just for a second. I hope that sunk in. what Jade just said there, folks. Her and her husband are making a full-time income. They both replaced their full-time income. They're doing well enough to be able to travel and run the business from anywhere in the world, anytime they want to, and quote, living the dream. I want you to let that sink in, because that's the kind of business you should be looking for.
That happen. And so I can't stress enough that the ABS system is easy enough to work with, that you definitely don't need the background ahead of time. And as long as you put your mind to it and you follow the plan, you can definitely do it. Absolutely.
It's not like a franchise, is it?
It's not like a franchise. I don't give any of my money to ABS whatsoever. As you know, Patrick, I'm saying that for everybody else that's watching, but I don't give a dime to ABS. If there's any money that they're making, it would be through, like he said, some of the software features and things like that. But that's what I love, because we did look into the franchising business as well. And we found several things. You know, it's a very expensive startup. You have to be rich to start one, I feel like. And we just didn't have that kind of cash. We didn't want to spend our kids' college money, you know, those types of things. So that was appealing, as well as after you start the business, that you're not giving any percentage to ABS of your income. It's all of your income. And you have complete control of how much money you earn and how big you get. I am someone who, you know, I've known other licensees who set up these beautiful offices. They hire a dozen people or more, and they're doing incredibly well. My husband and I have decided that we don't want that. I had mentioned we want the freedom to travel.
Folks, if you want to see that full interview with Jade, you can again go to our YouTube channel, and we did that one just recently, so you can find that there and watch the whole thing. It's about an hour in length. Now, what else did we do this past year? Well, we rocked it on business owner webinars. Now, we call our business owners licensees because we license our system to them. We have a licensing system versus a franchise. The main difference is we don't have any royalties. You don't pay us anything on an ongoing basis of any kind. And there's no territories. You literally can sign up doctors anywhere in the whole United States. So one of the things we do is we partner with other companies like NextGen. Our entire system, for example, our cloud-based medical billing and electronic medical record system, as you can see, is white labeled for us by NextGen. Now, NextGen is one of the biggest out there in the medical field, and yet we have a partnership with them and have our own private label, iClaim and EMRX. Those are our platforms that our licensees get to use and market directly to the doctors. NextGen is really, really big. They've been in business for 46 years. They have 2,600 employees, 4,000 client accounts that are out there, 150 physicians are served, excuse me, 150 million patients. And they're just big. They're just huge. And they've done many, many webinars for us, for our business owners, because again, they make money when you sign the doctors up. We make money, you make money. It's a win-win for all of us. And as I mentioned earlier, there are many other ancillary services that we've done webinars on this year, including some of them that you see pictured here in this illustration. For example, DocVocate is one of them. And we have 13 elite physician advisors on the board of DocVocate. And this means, folks, that they can provide all sorts of analytics and workflow automation for doctors and for you as a business owner. So again, we can go into detail with you on this. Each one of our reps will be glad to show you these in detail, but that's just a kind of an overview of what DocVocate. All right, here's another one. Credentialing, that's a big one. Yeah, Doctable is one of the companies that we work with on credentialing. And we actually have a couple of other companies that we work with because credentialing is big. Now, all that means is some doctors need help doing their paperwork to get set up with the insurance companies and with Medicare and Medicaid. And since that is one of those things that doctors don't know how to do and it's pretty involved, we have companies that will do that for you for a fee. You pass that fee on to the doctors, you can mark it up, you can make money on that, but you can offer that to doctors as one of your services. fact, a lot of services that you might not be able to offer otherwise, you'll be able to offer through American Business Systems. Well, here's another little clip from Chris. Chris was talking to us about the income that he made in this business. So I'm going to play that for you and see what Chris has to say. Now, Chris, you mentioned earlier that you thought if you just got one more client, you'd be pretty well set. Does that mean that you would, with one more client, replace your previous income?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
super.
Yep. Yep. It depends on the client. I've got a client that I'm working on right now that's five positions in the office, but that one doctor that one office, that one right there will more than double what I was making selling devices. I was doing pretty good selling devices. So that one, you get that one office, you can be up and running fast.
Yeah, well, we don't want to talk about how much money you're bringing in or making or banking or paying or not paying taxes on, but sure. It sounds like from that one client that's doing $1 million, even a small 6% would be a nice revenue on that doctor.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, there you go. So one client is what it took for Chris to replace his previous income, and is making a pretty good fee on that. By the way, you can charge your fees to the doctor is based on the money that you collect for him. It depends on the specialty and the volume and all sorts of things. We can help you with that as part of our support, of course, when you put together a proposal for a doctor. But in general, we found that it runs 6 to 10% all across the country. So he was just at one of the lowest fees there, 6%, but that's still at $1 million. That's a lot. Here's another company that we work with, Schooley Mitchell, and they are cost reduction services. You can actually go in and actually tell a doctor that you can save them money. Yes, it won't cost them anything unless you save them money on all sorts of services that they now are paying for. This company does all the research, digs into it, does all the work. And of course, we charge a fee to the doctor. You charge a fee to the doctor, but you of course mark that up, and you can make some money on this. Again, it's a great door opener to get something to talk to a doctor or an office manager about when they might not, they may think that their billing is under control and they don't want to talk to you about the billing. So that's what these webinars are all about. We also have what's called virtual care. Now, folks, this is so big, I don't even know how to go into detail on this, but it's big. Virtual care is end-to-end care of the patients of a doctor. Let's say that somebody has some pulmonary disease or some other intense medical needs, that the doctor needs to see this patient on a regular basis, at least once a month, maybe more often. And rather than that patient having to come into the office, we can all do this virtually. That's right. It's all can be done through virtual Zoom type meetings like this one, where we're seeing the patient. Now, you don't do this. Again, this is a service. All of these are services that are offered by our technology partners through you to the doctor. This particular one, a doctor can increase their revenue by thousands of dollars a month and not have to do any extra work, because again, this company does all of that virtual care with the patients, meeting with them, visiting with them, even taking their pulse, their heart rate. All of that can be done virtually nowadays. And as you can see from the little illustration there. Okay, we also did one with Rectangle Health, which is an innovation that drives patient payments. Yes, doctors have a problem. The patients who don't have insurance or that owe even 20% of what the bill is that the insurance does not pay, they have a hard time collecting that. And yet that's money that's left on the table that's rightfully theirs. Well, rather than employ a collection agency, we have companies like Rectangle Health who can go in and offer ways for that patient to make payments automatically to the doctor and make it very easy for them to pay that balance out. Again, we did that webinar with the Rectangle Health company, which is our partner in this, and they have been terrific at helping many, many doctors. Hey, I'm just going to interrupt this just for a second because Dominic is asking, what is your YouTube channel URL? I'm going to give that one more time here, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is actually put that in the chat window. So here's what it is. Oh, no, I think somebody is behind the scenes typing that in for me and answering, but we might ought to put that in the chat window as well so everybody has that. youtube.com/YABS. Here's another webinar that we did called Cedar Financial. This is putting people first, taking care of the medical industry since 1991. A wonderful company that has helped many, many doctors financially with financial services that I can't go into in detail, but folks, again, an in-depth meeting with them and webinar with them that's been wonderful. Here's another interview with one of our licensees. This is Jesus over in Dallas, and let's hear what Jesus had to say on my recent interview with him. Doctors are really struggling right now with their cash flow, so they need all the help they can get. I think you said just the other day when we were talking that you'd signed up a couple of doctors during this time.
Yes, yes. You know, actually, in doctors, like you said, I mean, they're really struggling, but now more than ever, because a lot of patients don't want to come to the practices. So the volume for those doctors has decreased tremendously. So they struggle with the billing, they struggle with all the revenue now more than ever. So they're looking for ways. I mean, most of them, you know, they're just desperate to find new ways of revenue, new sources. So it's an interesting time. You know, it's challenging, but there's a lot of opportunities out there. Especially with the license that we have, so many services that we can offer to doctors.
Yeah, it helps that we have not just the billing, but of course all those other things that I just illustrated there on the screen with that little previous slide, because all of those things are what I think of as ancillary services that are optional as to whether or not you want to, oops, I don't have that actually showing, do I? Here we go. You know, as to whether you want to offer those to doctors or not, that's up to you. And you may or may not have offered some of these other services to your clients. Jesus, have you offered some other services besides billing?
Yes, you know, actually, when I started the license with the license, I was just going over only it was a billing. I claim EMRX, but you know, I learned that doctors sometimes they like to start with lower solutions just to get to know you. Especially in this industry, which there's a lot of people that they don't deliver. I mean, it's unreliable. So doctors are looking for reliable people. Problem with doctors is that they need to fight or deal with different fronts. They have on one end the revenue, they have compliance, they have, and especially doctors with a lot of Medicare, Medicaid population, they now need to deal with, not only compliance, but, the quality measures, HIDIS, MACRA, MIPS, and all that. So it's a very difficult arena for doctors to be able to comply with all the fronts that they're dealing. So having a portfolio like the one we have is a very easy way to get into doctors' offices, even now. And the truth is that even I mean, this industry is so broad, that there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of ways to really work with doctors, in different fronts.
Yeah, here's a webinar we did this year and a new service that we just introduced recently. It's called DentaMax. It is a partner who actually has a cloud-based system, just like we have for medical billing, but for dentists. That's right, you can now do dental billing in the cloud from anywhere in the world, anytime, any platform, any browser, any OS system. This is a fantastic way for you to open up doors that you might not otherwise have in your area. Any dentist that wants to outsource their billing can outsource this to you. And yes, you can give them access to the system as well, so that they and their staff have access to it as well. It's a complete system. There's a lot of information here on this slide. This is from the webinar itself that we gave. But again, I'm just giving you a feel for what we did this past year for our existing licensees. Lots and lots of information and new education and new tools that we continually introduce. Now, how do we do that? Well, I've already told you that we don't have any franchise fees, no ongoing royalties. So where does ABS make our money? We make it through our partners. They share a few pennies on each one of the transactions that goes through their system with us. So we have a vested interest in helping you succeed. Okay. Then there's our auto card system. This is a great system, folks. I actually did this webinar this past year on creating cards and campaigns. Now, folks, when we say cards and campaigns, we're not talking about electronic e-cards. We're talking about literal physical cards that can be printed in full color, that you can add your pictures to, your doctor's picture, their staff, their office. It's a wonderful system for automatically following up on not only your prospects, the doctors in your area, but you can help the doctors follow up with their patients as well, all through postcard and greeting card marketing. It's a wonderful way to have a special touch. You know, a lot of people just hit the delete button when they get emails, but boy, when they get a card in the mail, it means something. And we've proven over and over again through our licensees that it really does help them to get their work, their business, their new contracts with doctors when they use this automated, completely automated follow-up system. You don't have to even think about it. Just put them in, turn it on, and it'll send them a new card every month or every week or however often you want to. Now, you've heard some of the people on these interviews today talk about they're making money even during this time, even this, it's a hard time that we're going through with the COVID and so forth. So folks, we've moved to teaching more people how to use online marketing, virtual marketing, and we've done that through one of them through LinkedIn. We teach you exactly how to maximize your growth. Held Big Enterprises is an author who's actually done the webinar for us. She's written a book on how to maximize LinkedIn for growth. And we had her on to teach our licensees exactly how to use LinkedIn to grow their services. All right, well, here's another little interview that I'll play a little portion of from Steve and Beverly. Right, now, I didn't ask you if I could share this email from you, this little note that you sent me, Beverly, but I'm going to throw this up here. I just thought it was a nice little note for you that you sent to me. You remember sending something about one of your clients and you sending an invoice?
I did, and I knew that was the email you were going to bring up. Yes.
Yeah, we sent that around the office here. Everybody wanted to see that because Beverly is saying, she actually wrote this to Jordan in our office here. Says, one of my clients is receiving an invoice for $25,663.93. That was a nice month for you there, wasn't it?
That really was, yeah. That was very, very nice.
Now, just so people kind of wrap their brains around that of course is not, well, that is the money that you made for the doctor. Is that right?
That is the money that I made, yes. Yep. This particular client is a pathology doctor, and the billing that we were doing for her netted her $500,000 a month, and so this is the money that I made. Yes. Yep. This particular client is a pathology doctor, and the billing that we were doing for her netted her $500,000 a month, and so then I just took my percentage off of that $500,000, and that's what I billed her for our services.
Wow. Wow. Hey, well, there you go. Folks, there are licensees who are out there billing their doctors for their services for pretty close to what they invested completely in our entire training and system. Yes, you can make some pretty good money in this business once you get started and get going. Here's another webinar that we did, Compliancy Guard. Doctors are not sure in their office. Believe me, they do not know what they're doing when it comes to HIPAA compliance. And HIPAA can come in and do a survey on the doctor's office and charge them literally thousands of dollars in fines for having broken some of the rules of HIPAA. That's the privacy, as you know, for patients' data. And so you can offer this service again through one of our partners who actually does all the work for you, sets it up in the doctor's office, trains them how to stay compliant. And of course, you make money on an ongoing basis as the doctor does these compliancy reviews every quarter inside their office. So again, another one of our services that made our licensees a lot of money this past year. Oh, there's just another slide from that. There's in fact the CEO of the company there that does the actual compliancy guard. We also had Helbig Enterprises. Her name is Diane Helbig, who actually did another webinar for us called How to Build a Pool of Strategic Partners. Now, folks, one of the things we teach, we don't teach you just go out and just knock on doors or make phone calls to doctors in your area. That's not how we teach you to market your services. We have many, many ways of doing that, not only online, but even with this one here, building a pool of strategic partners in your area. These are people who want to also market their services or products to doctors, but they're not in competition with you. For example, a CPA, he wants doctors as clients, but he doesn't do, billing. And so you partner with these people and we teach you how to meet these people, where to find them, what to say, how to engage with them, and find out if they're going to be good partners for you. And once you're partners with them, they can refer you to doctors that you would never meet otherwise. So a warm introduction from one of your partners, believe me, can grow your business very, very quickly. Here's another interview from a lady named Wendy, and I'll play a little portion of hers here for you. Let's just talk about your business, Wendy. When you first came through the training, what did you do to go out and market? How did you get your first client?
We got a client from the internet.
Well, and so that first client came because they saw your website and said, I think I need some help. And so doctors really do go out and search for help with their billing, don't they?
Yes. And, with our internet marketing and stuff like that, the vast majority of the info requests that I get via email from them typically come in, in the evenings, weekends, and stuff like that. So when these doctors are sitting there, they're looking at their numbers and they're, when things are quiet, the staff's not around, and they're like, well, what's going on here? Yeah. So that's usually when we get the vast majority of our info requests.
So have you gotten referrals from some doctors to other doctors?
Yep, we've gotten referrals from doctors. Our current providers, we've gotten referrals to.
All right, so let's jump ahead in time just so people can see where you're at today. How many clients do you think approximately?
30, 40 clients. I should know the number off the top of my head. I know we have quite a few. We have quite a few clients, and we're, the vast majority of my clients were in Ohio. And then Georgia and Texas and New Jersey and stuff like that. So we're kind of all over the place at this point. We have a doctor down in Florida that we do scheduling for. We're an outsourced scheduling company for them. So it's we do a little bit of everything. Okay, next. Roundtable discussions. Let me talk about that just for a second, because folks, we do a lot of roundtable discussions with our licensees, meaning we have more than one person on there. We have other licensees, we have experts, we have authors, we have CEOs of different partners that get on and talk about things like this one, for example, pricing and proposals. How do you price correctly? You don't want to price overprice or you won't get a client. If you underprice, you'll be leaving money on the table. So we talk about that and how to prepare proposals that are professional, and we go into depth on some of these things. Here's another one. 5 campaigns to grow your business in the COVID world of social distancing. Yes, we've even done webinars on specifically how you can build your market, your product, your services, and your company during the COVID world that are out there. Again, there's Dr. Vicki Ratner in this particular discussion, and Tim Warren in the bottom left-hand corner. That is our VP of Training and Support. I was on this one along with Jay Beatty, who's another one of our licensees. So again, we have some great discussions that you get to sit in on. And of course, you can ask questions during those as well. Here's another one we did. One of our recent books that we put out by Vicki Ragner was 10 Critical Questions for Physicians in Private Practice. And we tell you how to use that book in your marketing to go out and actually market to doctors, using it as a gift to open doors. You can have your name printed on the back of that book, and it's a great marketing tool for our licensees that nobody else does these types of things, folks. We've spent literally thousands of dollars developing some of these tools like these books. There's another roundtable discussion. Again, you get the idea. Lots and lots of information shared during those. Now, here's a little brief clip from Dr. Vicki Ragner. I just mentioned her. She just recently wrote a book called The Myth of the Rich Doctor. And you can find a lot of her books out there on Amazon. Just search for Vicki Ragner. I'm going to play you just a little short video here of what she thinks about ABS.
Congratulations for finding the American Business Systems site. You're probably looking for a great business opportunity, and you have found one. I'm Dr. Vicki Ragner. I call in my experience as a practicing surgeon and entrepreneur to help doctors thrive. What I can tell you is that while doctors are smart people, they don't have a great business savvy. So the services that ABS offers can literally help doctors turn their practices and their lives around. This is a viable, growing market. Not only that, Patrick Phillips and Adam Phillips have a true commitment to the success of the people who join the ABS family. I think you can't go wrong here.
Now, folks, one of the reasons that I shared this video with you, Dr. Vicki has been gracious in helping us as a company. She was a general surgeon for many, many years and decided to get out of the medical business and get into the business of helping people to connect with doctors. She knows that doctors need help from financial advisors, for example. They need help with their billing. She outsourced her billing, and she shares all that with us and our licensees. So you become partners with Dr. Vicki Ragner. That's right. You can actually put your name on the cover of a book that she has written and give that to doctors. It gives great credibility to you, and it opens doors that you might not have otherwise. She'll even write an introductory letter from her on her letterhead to the doctors in your community, introducing you as one of her partners that she works with through ABS. She's one of the co-founders of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America that I mentioned earlier as well. She did a webinar for us on how to cultivate a culture of introductions. In other words, again, how to market, introducing yourself to the business people in your community and letting them introduce you to the doctors that are out there. She did another one on a book here that she wrote recently with my son, Adam, on how to attract and engage doctors with your new book. The book's called 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. And by the way, if you'd like a copy of that book electronically, get back with the representative that you've been working with that shared this link to this webinar today with you, and they'll send you a copy of that book electronically so you can take a glance at it and see how valuable this would be to doctors who actually read that book. She also did a webinar for us and our licensees on financial advisors as power partners. Yes, some of the financial advisors that she's been helping for the past 8 or 10 years on how to connect with doctors for engaging with doctors to help doctors with their financial investments. She can actually help you to connect with those financial advisors in your area and have them become power partners to introduce those doctors in your area to them as well. All right, well, folks, that is the review that we've done for today. We have a few minutes left, and I'm going to address some questions that I see here on the board. But first, let me tell you about the support as I see those questions coming in. You can go ahead and type those in right there in the Q&A box. The support that we give licensees, that's pretty important. Once you've invested in a business opportunity or a franchise, what kind of support are you going to get from that company afterwards? Well, folks, we have an entire portal that's just for our licensees that's been out there since
well, about 2014, I think is when we set that up. So how many years is that? 6, 7 years. It's been a long time, and it's a wonderful resource for our licensees. Lots and lots of emails, webinars are there, videos, books, documents, contracts, all the tools that you need to succeed. You have lifetime access to that. Yes, even some people who've been with us 10, 12, 15 years, they still go back to our support site because we're constantly posting new information on that site. That's all included, and you never pay another dime for access to that. You also have access, of course, for life, once you become one of our licensees, to our iClaim practice management system for doing the billing, the doctor's system for doing the electronic medical records, the clearinghouse that's built into our system, and the patient portal that's available to all of our doctors for all of their patients. That's all inclusive, folks, one-time, lifetime licensing fee. Then, of course, we also train you. Our training is all done virtually. It's all done online, one-on-one, by the way, with an instructor. There's our lead instructor right there, Cynthia. And she's been doing this for about 5 years now. And she's been in business as a licensee, as a medical billing expert for about 10 years. So you can get online with her, go through all 10 of our modules. Each one's about 90 minutes in length. And you can go through that initial training, in less than 30 days. Some people squeeze it in even a couple of weeks. So it's a wonderful in-depth course. By the end of the course, you are certified as a medical revenue manager. And yes, you can even have somebody else sit in on the training as well. You don't have to pay a separate training fee for that person as well. Now, if you haven't seen the iClaim and EMRX live demo from your rep, be sure and get back with your rep and say, look, I'd like to see your software demonstrated to me live, and we'll be glad to share that with you. We'll get online with you just like we're doing here through Zoom and share that step by step and let you ask all the questions you want. By the way, we do those demos for your prospective doctors as well. Yes, you can set up a demo through our licensee website support site. Set up the demo with the doctor, what time and day you'd like the demo, and our demonstrators here at our office will get online and do that demonstration for the doctor for you. You can be logged in and be watching the thing as well, of course, and you'll be able to hear all the questions that the doctor asks about our system, and you'll hear the question and the answers, of course, that our experts give to the doctors. We close about 50% of all the doctors who actually watch one of our live demos. So it's a very, very important sales tool that is included in your license. Again, there's never, ever any other charges from ABS for these types of things to you. Now, I mentioned earlier that our license price right now is $27,990. It's going up on January 1st. Again, we don't know exactly what that fee will be, but we've added several new services and come out with several new tools, like a new book for you to use in your marketing. And we've added dental billing, of course, to the package as well. So the price will be going up. That's the first increase, I think, in about 3 years. So if you're still interested, if you can do your due diligence and get your spot reserved with your ABS rep, you can still lock in that price for your license. Now, here's some steps. I'll go through these real quickly, and then if we have any more time left, I'll answer some questions and maybe play another testimonial or two from some of our licensees. If you haven't got our research guide, this is over 60 pages of information that's not on our website. Be sure and ask your ABS rep for that. There's the phone number right there on the screen, as well as an email address that you can email and just say, hey, I want that research guide. Please send that to me. Then you can browse YouTube. That channel that we mentioned earlier. Then you can also get the list of ABS owner reference list, we call it. So these are real people who've invested in our business. They've gone through our training. They've started their business, and they're actually running their business, and we'll be glad to talk to you about their experience. Be sure and ask for that reference list. Then, as I just mentioned, ask for that live demo of our iClaim EMRX program, and just lock in your first live online training session. We'll let you talk to our lead instructor, Cynthia, and she will work with you on your schedule to figure out when's the best time for you to get your training done, and kind of line that up step by step, each one of the schedule modules for you. And that's all there is to do it, to getting involved with us, folks. Once you get your paperwork done and your funding done, you're ready to rock and roll and start making money. Now, I think I've mentioned this before on previous webinars, but those of you who've not been on the webinars might not know that we're the only company in America. I say this with confidence, until somebody points out someone else, that offers an unconditional 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. And that just means if you go through our training modules, even if you take the full 30 days and you don't like what you see, if there's anything that you just did not think you would like about this business, you just ask for your money back and we will refund every penny. You'll just ship back all the materials that we ship to you and get your money in full. And the only reason we can do that, of course, is we know what we have. We're pretty confident that it's what we say it is, and that it is well worth the investment. We have refunded a few people over the years, a handful of people is all, and that's usually due to some personal reasons that they just didn't foresee coming up. Okay, well, here's another interview that I think I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to actually address a couple of questions here as well, just so that I can say that I actually addressed them live on the webinar. One of them is, how long does it take to earn your money back? Well, you'll hear Tracy in this particular interview tell us that she got her money back in the first year. Now, folks, that may sound like a long time, but in any business, if you can get your return on your investment in the first 12 months, believe me, you're way ahead of the game. The average is about 24 months. And you'll hear that even on Shark Tank, as they talk about different businesses, what does it take to break even? So it's a wonderful business to be in. And I'm going to go ahead and play this and let you listen to Tracy. Stay on here as long as you can. Otherwise, I hope I see you at one of our upcoming trainings, and maybe hopefully on next week's webinar. We will be having one next week as well. Just go back to our website. You see at the bottom of the screen there, absystems.com, and click on the button up at the top that says you want to sign up for a live webinar, and you'll be signing up for next week's webinar. Okay, here goes Tracy. Let's get to our guest today, Tracy Clark. She's out there in North Carolina somewhere. Tracy, you still with us? There she is.
Hi, I'm here. Hi.
Hi. I want to get people kind of up to speed on where you're at in this business, first of all, because you've got quite an operation going there. Can you kind of turn your laptop there and show us a little bit about where you're at right now? You actually lease an office there, don't you?
Right now, we're right here in my office. And then I have 3 other offices located inside of this office. And this is just like our, when you come in at, and of course, there's 2 computers set up here. And then when the contractors come in and they want to work, we have an area set up in here so they can be able to sit here and work, have their own space and work here in the office. And then turn that light back off. So we have a pretty nice space here. Here's another suite right here. I'll turn that light on for you. So nice office, nice office space. I enjoy it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she's willing to do this interview with us here, even though she's gone and just built this thing huge. It's just incredible what you've done with this, Tracy. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, so when you mentioned contractors earlier, let's just touch base on that for a second, because I tell people, look, you can run this business yourself forever if you wanted to. With a handful of clients, you could do the billing yourself, and just make a pretty good living doing it, couldn't you?
Correct. Most definitely you could. Or you can have employees, or you can take the route that I've taken, which is contractors. It just depends on what direction you want to send, put your company in. So it just really depends on the owner, you as the ABS licensee.
Yeah, and obviously you wanted to take it to another level. I'm sure somewhere down the line you're thinking, okay, I'll get this point where this baby where it's bringing in $1 million a year, I'll sell it for $3 million, and then just open that McDonald's that I've always wanted to operate.
Exactly. I went in so many directions with my license. So because you guys offer so many products. I use my personal experience along with the products that you guys offer, which helps save me a lot of time on research on what's going on in the industry. You kind of log on to that private website that you guys have for us, and we can kind of get up to speed about everything that's going on in the revenue cycle management. So that's definitely a great benefit. And like you stated earlier, some clients don't want to change over their current billing platform. They just want you to do the work. And so you can bring on a client that way, or maybe they don't like the software that they're using now and they want to use one of the softwares that we offer. We can, provide billing services that way. So there's so many different things that you can do with your ABS license in order to be, successful out here. I kind of set my business up to be like a one-stop solution, pretty much a one-stop. So if you need it, we offer it. And so being that one-stop solution allows us, it definitely expanded the market, and now we can just do business pretty much with anybody. COVID really opened a lot of providers' eyes open, where they realized that if they had an outsourced agency at the time when they started providing telemedicine, like how their work could have continued. So many people, they shut their practices down. They wasn't able to bring many people in. The practices that were open, that was treating COVID patients, they try to limit the amount of personnel they had in there. And because some of the billing systems that they're using was not a cloud-based system, it was a server-based system, a lot of them wasn't even able to submit claims to be reimbursed for those services. But if you had outsourced to an entity such as ours, we work from home. We can work from anywhere. As long as we got an internet, we have a computer device, we can submit claims on your behalf. And so a lot of providers seen the benefit of outsourcing, especially when COVID hit. You have an employee that's been with you 3 years and they figured out, I can go home and make more money on unemployment than working with you. So now you're going to give me more money or I'm going to go home. And so that was another thing providers were faced with. So it was beneficial to have your work outsourced to a billing company where our rates were going to stay the same. We weren't going to go do a whole price hike on you because, unemployment is available now. My website and word of mouth and referrals, that's the biggest marketing we're doing right now. My website is out there. We have people that we've done business with or that we're doing business with that's talking about us. And so we're getting those direct referrals. And some of the clients that it is that I service, I've never met them in person. We have only met via phone or like using a Zoom platform like we're using now. We talk, we're able to find out what their pain points is, how they can benefit by using us. We get back on there. We give them our proposal. We negotiate at that time. We send them over a digital contract. They sign it, send it back to us, and we just get the rolling. So you don't have to be in person in order to do business with the doctor. You can do it. That's the world that we're in right now. It can be handled virtually.
Can you give us a feel, what kinds of doctors do you do billing for at this point?
Right now, we're more in the behavioral health industry. We also doing speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, still a little bit of pulmonologist, and then general practitioners. That's essentially what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. But what ABS assisted me with, and which I loved, is that I didn't know business. I didn't know the first way how to market. I didn't know how to do a contract. I didn't know what to charge. I didn't know any of this. So who do you partner with? Like what platforms do you? I didn't have any of that. And so when I became an ABS licensee, I was more interested on how do I get in contact with a technology company. How do I market? How do I price my services? What type of contract do I set up? And so me with ABS being able to give me that foundation, it made it a lot easier for me to kind of, transition to the billing and coding side and learn it a little bit more so that I can become the subject matter expert. So, I had no idea how to run a business. None.
Have you got clients in other states besides North Carolina?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah. I've never just serviced clients in the states that I live in because I move quite frequently. So, yeah, I have clients all over. Definitely not just here in North Carolina. Yeah. Marketing is not my strong piece. I'm more so get them in front of me, I'll close the deal. My husband loves to talk to everybody. And she says, well, by the way, the doctor is looking to get an EMR system. She's like, just leave me your card and stuff. I'll pass your information over to them. So he left his card, didn't think much of it. Like what, 2 or 3 days later, they called and they wanted to speak with Chris and spoke with Chris. And Chris set up a meeting where we did an intake on those guys. It definitely took us doing some following up, them doing some due diligence on us and making sure that we were a legitimate company, that we can handle their business. And so it kind of went from there. Then once I got that client, I kind of went off the market like in its entirety for marketing, because I was just trying to be like, I was just trying to do the best job I can with my first client. And so we did that. Then I kind of went back out to marketing, and that client actually referred me over to someone else. And then it kind of just started taking over from there. And I was like, okay, I could kind of do this. And it went from there. Yeah. So we haven't, the first, 3 or 4 months is probably the most marketing we did, to be honest with you. We used auto cards. We did with just leaving our material and word of mouth. I mean, in our website, I mean, if your website is what it's supposed to be, someone goes in there and they type in that keyword, you come up on one of those top 10 businesses, people will reach out to you. Make sure your website has all of your contact information there, showing, you know, what it is that you do and what you can offer. Yeah.
What kind of money can be made in this business? Will it provide a full-time income for somebody?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think in one of my first videos, I think I got my return on investment within a year after opening my business. So, I mean, that can kind of sum it up what type of money you can make. You definitely can make well into the 6 figures. How high or how low is going to depend on how big you want to grow it and what type of clients you decide to go after. You know, if you want to go after more of a specialist, which they make a little bit more money, you can get a little bit more money back in return for them. Or you may just want to go with just your general practitioner. I would just say that that you guys offer very great products. I mean, if you really want to get into this business and you're looking to partner with a legitimate company, these guys have been around. They was around long before I became a licensee, and they're still here. Since I've been on board as a licensee, they have definitely, I'm like looking at the website and I'm looking at some of your slides. I'm like, we didn't have that. I mean, you guys have definitely rolled out some more things and you kind of like updated, and you're staying like relevant with today's market. So actually reflective of 2021. And that's who you want to do business with. Someone that's going to stay up to date with the market. So you offer it, and then look at me. I paid a different amount than what these guys are going to pay, but I still get access to everything new that you roll out. So, I mean, you can't beat that. I am a successful business owner. I do not have to call these guys as much as you. I'm going to be honest. I hardly visit the website because I found what works for my business. But let's say that I did need some assistance, or a client mentioned a particular service to me, and I'm like, I bet you I can go on the ABS website and I can be able to get literature and be able to then answer my client back intelligently and say, yes, this is what's going on. So ABS is legit. They're real. And if you want to become an ABS licensee, don't hesitate.